We continue our reading and reflection on the Mahabharata primarily from Kamala Subramaniam's English translation of the Mahabharata, published by the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, Bhavan's Book University. This is chapter 6, and it's titled Amba's Thirst for Revenge. As we saw in chapter 5, Amba loved Salva, and Salva was defeated by Bhishma. And after Bhishma came to know about this, he asked Amba to go back to Salva, but she was rejected by Salva. Then Bhishma couldn't accept Amba, and Amba tried her best, but even Parashurama, who was Bhishma's guru, could not convince Bhishma to go back on his oath. And therefore, Amba decides that she has to take matters into her own hands. And that is the subject of this chapter. Like I said, titled Amba's Thirst for Revenge. Amba left the forest and went elsewhere. She performed a terrible penance. She denied herself even the bare necessities and continued her penance. Shanmukha, the son of Lord Shankara, was pleased with her. He appeared before her. He gave her a garland of ever-fresh lotuses and said, "My child, take this garland with you. The person who wears it around his neck will be the person who will kill Bhishma." Pleased with herself and with the gift of Shanmukha, Amba set out on her request, or rather on a quest for revenge. Amba went to all the powerful kings in her quest for revenge. She traveled all over the land and tried to persuade them to take up her cause. They all refused to do it, all of them. Even her assurance that the garland given by a god was a sure sign of success was of no avail. Bhishma was so powerful a personality that there was not a single Kshatriya who dared to oppose him and make an enemy of him. Amba went to the court of Drupada, the king of the Panchalas. She laid the facts before him and asked him to help her. He heard her and said, "I am very sorry to see your plight. If it had not been Bhishma but someone else, I would have championed your cause. But this Bhishma is different. He is a righteous man. I cannot find any cause to fight with him. He's not only powerful, but he's good. I am sorry. I have to refuse you this request." Amba was desperate. She flung the garland round a pillar in the great hall of Drupada. The king was overcome with consternation. Everyone was afraid of Bhishma. Drupada was upset by this impulsive action of Amba. She left his hall in fury. The garland was there on the pillar. No one dared to touch it, and it was guarded very carefully. Amba went to the forest once again. Her severe penance was resumed. In her heart, there was place for only one emotion: hatred. Hatred for Bhishma. She hated Bhishma, and her only desire was to see him dead. Her penance went on for a long time. Finally, Lord Shankara appeared before her and said, "Grieve not, my child. In your next birth, you will yourself kill Bhishma." Amba was impatient. She said, "In my next birth, I will not remember my hatred. I may kill him, but I will not be able to taste the joy of revenge. I must kill him now." Shankara smiled and said, "Do not worry. In your next birth, you will remember every one of the many incidents in this life of yours. You will be born as the child of the king of the Panchalas, Drupada. You will be a woman first. Later, you will become a man. I assure you that you will have your revenge. You will certainly kill your enemy Bhishma." Amba built a huge fire and threw herself into it. As we can see, Amba is impatient. She wants her revenge and she wants it right now. Therefore, she goes to the extent of killing herself, self-immolation. Later, Amba was born as the daughter of Drupada. One day, while playing in the hall of the king, Amba saw the garland of lotuses which hung on the pillar. And as we already know, it is a garland that would never fade. The roses would be forever fresh, as Shanmukha had promised her. She took it down and placed it round her neck. Drupada, on hearing about this, came running. He was overcome with fear and consternation that she had dared to do such a thing. Amba smiled serenely at her father and said, "Be not so amazed, father. I have been born as your child for the sole purpose of wearing this garland. You can live in peace and leave the rest to me." She was called Shikandi. Her education was given to her by Drona, who, like the rest of the world, thought that she was a man. Years passed. By the kindness of Yaksha, Amba lost her sex, meaning she was no longer a woman, and became a man. She grew up in the house of Drupada with a hatred for Bhishma burning like a torch in her heart. And this ends chapter 6, Amba's thirst for revenge, and we will see how it is this Shikandi, Amba in this birth as Shikandi, who will finally be the cause of Bhishma's death on the 10th day of the great battle at Kurukshetra.